Hi everyone, I'm Hannah. I'm going to take you through an ankle lock sequence today. So this is an aerial trick. It's a bit more for the days that you just want to sort of get into a trick, get into a nice shape, and you're not really feeling like doing a full flow. But we will start with a quick little warm-up. So today we're making sure our hammock height is just below our hip bones. It can be a little bit lower if you need it to, just because this is a trick sequence, so it kind of doesn't really matter where you are, but you obviously don't want it too high. So we're going to start on the ground, just on our knees behind the hammock, behind the rigging point. You're going to bring a wrap on, so bringing your hands around the front, bringing your hands through the middle, and placing your hands on the fabric. So rolling your hands down the fabric, bringing your hands to about shoulder width apart. Taking a deep inhale, and exhale, let's send it forward. And just swaying from side to side here, keeping a nice flat back, just getting in to our sides, like warming up our shoulders. So we just want to make sure that we're a little bit warmed up, especially in the back and the arms for this one. We just don't want to go straight into a trick and hurt ourselves or pull a shoulder or something like that. So just moving from side to side, coming all the way over to our right, reaching with both of our arms, and coming all the way over to our left, reaching as far as you can, coming back to the center, and we'll add in some cat-cows. So dipping down, bending at the arms, dipping our rib cage towards the ground, and then rolling our spine up, spreading the arms nice and straight, and curling like a cat for our cat. So roll through a few more of these with our cat-cows. Just warming up where your body needs today. You might have been at a desk all day or running around, or you just woke up. So let's just get into our sides, whatever feels good, whatever's needed. 2 more breaths here. Really getting in to every part of your back and your shoulders. Okay, and let's roll it all the way back up. We're going to release our left foot in front of us, left knee. So just making sure that your knee is over your ankle. And we're going to come to a low lunge. So inhale and exhale, send it forward. Again, as you come forward, making sure that you move that heel a little bit further forward. And reaching out in front of us, opening up the hips. You can keep your neck between your shoulders, between your arms. Add a little sway or a little pulse, whatever feels good for you. And with every exhale, see if you can get a little bit deeper into that hip. And inhale, straightening that leg, bending and flexing the foot, coming into a half split. Bringing our chest towards our thighs, trying not to curl our spine, trying to keep our heart lifted. Hinging our left hip back, so both of our hips are in alignment. Just getting into our hamstring here. Inhale, bending forward, coming back into our low lunge. This time, we're running our hands all the way along the fabric, and bringing it over our head, opening up our heart. So we're pushing into the fabric, eyes are nice and high, really opening up our chest. Breathing in here, sinking into our right hip. A few more breaths. And bringing the fabric over our head, coming back into our half split, running our hands down the fabric so our hands meet. Pointing and flexing that foot if you need to get a little bit further into this half split. For this one, if you're not feeling anything here, if you're really flexible in your hamstrings, you can release your hands from the bind and bring your hands behind you, bringing your chest to your thighs. My hamstrings are not my strong point, so I'm going to stay up here, pointing and flexing that foot. A few more breaths. And let's roll it back up and bring that foot back. Okay, extending our right leg out. Again, checking in with your knee is over your ankle. Take a deep inhale and exhale, release it forward. Getting into the hip here and the shoulders. Maybe adding a little pulse. See if you can get a little bit deeper. Breathing in and exhaling, releasing out, releasing your body. Inhale, straightening the front leg, pointing and flexing that foot, hinging that hip back so both hips are in alignment. Keeping our back as flat as possible, bringing our chest to our thighs. Again, option to take that other hamstring option, releasing your hands if you're not feeling anything here. But I certainly am. Few breaths here. See if you can pull your heart a little bit closer to that leg. Inhale, coming forward into that low lunge, this time bringing the heart space up and running our hands along the fabric, pulling the fabric over our head, eyes gaze towards the ceiling, releasing into that hip, making sure again to check in with your alignment that your knee is over your ankle. Gazing towards the ceiling, pushing into the fabric, keeping our arms engaged, they're not just hanging there. Deep breaths here. See if you can exhale and fall a little bit deeper. Really need to warm up our hips. Inhale, bringing the fabric over our head, running our hands back down and coming back to our half split. Falling over our front leg, maybe pointing and flexing that foot. Maybe just holding it static if that's where you're at today and that's feeling good for you. A few more breaths here. And rolling the torso up, bringing the knees back together. And we can come back up. So you should be feeling a little bit warm now, hopefully. I do encourage you to do a little bit more of a warm up if you have time, but we'll get into the first trick. Okay, so now we're gonna come into our ankle hang sequence. So this is a really fun trick, especially when you just wanna get into a nice position, especially good for photos if you kinda wanna show people what you've been doing. So bringing our right foot, well, we're going to bring both of our feet into the hammock. So bringing the fabric to the base of your foot, hands come nice and high and come standing into the fabric. So bringing both of your feet and your hips between the two poles of the fabric. So from here, we're going to bring our left foot out in front of us. So both of our hips are between the fabric. Left foot comes around the outside of the hammock and our foot comes into the middle behind us. So from here, you can pull up and switch your feet. So we have to repeat that on the other side. So you're bringing your right leg, remember both of your hips are between the hammock. Right leg comes out, around the outside, and back behind you. And again, you can bring your hands about chest height and pull up so that your feet should be together like this in the hammock. It can be quite tight, especially if you have a single point hammock like I do. This one is a little bit easier if you have a double point. So once you've got into this position, I will go over it again. So don't worry about that, but I'll just show you the full first part of this position, of this sequence, and then we can go back over it again. So from here, we're going to point our toes and pop our ankles forward. So the fabric is coming over our ankles behind us. So we're coming over our heels onto our ankles behind us. So you're holding the fabric around about your chest height. You're pulling up, pointing your toes and popping the fabric around your ankles. So this is our ankle hang or ankle hold. So it can feel quite tight around your ankles, but that's good because we don't want you to fall out. So bringing your hands around your shoulders, sort of height, or maybe a little bit higher. And our first position is to release it back into our little back bend. So you can release your head back, or if you have sort of some neck issues, you can make sure you keep your chin to your chest. So yeah, this is our sort of lay back ankle hang position. It's our first one. So pulling yourself back up. To get out of this position,
we need to pull up, bending our knees and bringing our heels back onto that fabric. So hands are at our chest, pulling up, bringing our knees up, and bringing our feet back into the hammock. And again, take it out one more time. Do this one more time. Bring it up, pointing our toes, coming back down to a standing. So we'll do that one more time. I'll try from this side, see if we get a different angle for you guys. So putting both of our feet into the hammock, like you're just standing onto a swing, hands nice and high, standing into the fabric, both of our feet in the middle. Bringing your hips through the hammock. Oh, and I've just turned all the way around now. That's fun. Okay, so bringing our left foot out the front, coming out behind us, and through, the ankles coming through the fabric behind us. Holding on around our chest and switching the feet. Again, bringing our right foot out, making sure your hips are between the fabric, not one leg on the outside. Foot comes around the outside of the fabric and comes back through the middle. Hands around our chest, and we pull up, bringing both feet together. So they're probably jammed a little bit together like this. That's totally fine. Okay, so to get into that ankle hang position, again, let's hold onto the fabric around our chest. This is a lot of arm work. And we're pointing our toes and bringing the fabric around our ankles, so over our heels. So pulling up, pointing, and flipping just over our heels. So you could come to this nice position. You should feel quite secure as long as you're near the fabric. But yes, it can feel quite tight, especially if you're not used to having that kind of a wrap around your ankles. So bring our hands onto the fabric, bringing your hips back through the middle, and extending back out into our back bend. So this is a really pretty position and a really fun one to do. Bringing our chin to our chest and coming back up. Okay, so if you've conquered that one and you want to try the other position, this one will take a little bit of your arm and ab control and balance. And it is more helpful if you have a double point or if you have a bit more room between your hammocks. So mine is pretty tight, but I'm going to do it anyway. So if maybe you don't have much space, maybe just stick to the back bend version. So bringing both arms through the fabric, you're going to pop your shoulders through, keeping your hands nice and secure above you, and you're going to point your feet and arch your hips out, release your hips out and arch your back. So you're coming into this position. And making sure you bring your abs up and your biceps and bringing your torso back through. So these are our two positions. So one more time for that arch that we just did, bringing your arms all the way through. You can stop in this position and then straightening the arms, releasing the hips down, arching the back, eyes gazing up, and pulling it back up, making sure you can pull your shoulders back through. Maybe that one's one to work up to. Again, pulling your hips back through the hammock, holding on, so we're back in this position. The longer you stay here, the more this will constrict around your ankles, so that's totally fine. Okay, I'm holding on to the fabric, and you're gonna pull up your knees, bring your feet back into the fabric, and then one more time to get all the way out, holding on to our chest, and pulling up and coming all the way down. I hope you guys liked that trick. It's called ankle hang sequence. It's a few different variations. That's a really fun one and actually works a lot of your upper body, and you should feel it around your ankles a little bit. But it's a good one. It does work your abs and your upper body. So hope you're feeling good, and yeah, see you for the next class.